Hey guys, it's the Feather Bubble, and this video will help you with the boss. Now you might want some help with that because if you die to her at this moment, it goes straight to the in-game screen and you can't really save beforehand. So I'm going to have some tips as well as some gear up ideas to help you get through it so you don't only have to fight her once. Now right away, I was making some sticky bombs and I held them in my hand before I started this fight. So as soon as this scene's over, I'm going to pull it back out and we're going to chuck it right at that blob right in the center of the big mass. The sticky bomb, it's going to stick with her. That's why it's called a sticky bomb. And that's very helpful opposed to trying to hit it on the ground and maybe she walks away from it, jumps away from it. And this is going to get some high damage pretty easily. The other benefit with the sticky bomb is sometimes when you hit her with it, she's actually going to knock down to the ground, giving you a free moment to hit her again with another bomb. Or you can whip out your axe. So this is an excellent start right away. Now of course you can use the other bombs and they're great, but if you don't have good aim or you don't have good timing, sometimes it's not going to work out. Of course if you hit the ground, it won't bounce away. Dynamites have a similar aspect. Now the next thing that I would recommend is using the bow and arrow. The reason for this is if you look at the bottom right, when I fire, the energy cost is non-existent. You just fire away, no big problem. This keeps it for our sprinting and our dodging, which makes this fight a lot easier in my opinion. I didn't really notice a difference between poison arrows or fire arrows. The fire damage has been reduced on her, that's probably why. So you can just use normal arrows. It takes about 20 to kill her, plus a few bomb hits. But the arrows are flying off of her, and if you miss, they just fly onto the ground. What this means is you're most likely not going to run out of arrows, because you can go pick up the ones that have dropped down. And then keeping this distance, we sprint backwards and to the left to dodge. Just make sure you're always keeping a reasonable amount. Keeping in mind she can jump at you occasionally. So get ready to shift, sprint, and dodge away to the left and backwards. Now you can abuse her AI a little bit in this section, but if you're not careful, she'll trap you in and you'll feel like the one being abused. So right here I almost get trapped in. Keep an eye on the bottom right with the armor when she hits me. No damage to my health. This awesome armor is very important to this fight, especially if you're doing the range scene, because it's going to make it so you can almost ace her. Now you can throw these spears at her, thinking, oh, if the arrows, can you do spears? But check out the cost on the spear. When you throw it at her, it's actually a lot of energy to chuck it at her versus do a bow and arrow. Now I don't want to spend too much time on the gun because you have to go find it, and if you miss, you can run out of bullets pretty easily. It's about 8 to 9 bullets plus 3 bombs to kill her if you go this route. It's not so bad once you get used to aiming it, but I think it's more reliable to use the bow and arrow and easier to get. However, if you're interested, you already have it, or you want to go get it, link in the description on how to find it, and you can go this route. And some people might want to do the axe because it feels less cheesy than just shooting her the entire time. In which case, I would, when you start the swing and you start the momentum, prepare to run away at the same time. Run at her with having it already swinging, and then get ready to run away at the same time. Not attacking her while she's attacking. Wait for that free moment. But of course, as your energy gets lower and lower, it's going to be harder to run away. So time that energy if you're going to use this method. And sometimes she'll still hit you because you're in that actual range and she does like a spinning attack or whatever. This is not my favorite, but it's viable. Don't do that heavy swing like I did. It takes way too much energy. Now, in a second you'll see what happens when you get a direct hit, rather than some of those glancing blows that your armor takes care of. Right there, damage straight to your health. Another reason why I don't like to do melee as a recommendation. Now let's do some recipes. 5 feathers, 1 stick, it's going to get you 5 arrows. You can throw some Twinberries on there to get poison arrows, booze and cloth to get fire arrows. I didn't notice anything special with the poison arrows, slight change with the fire arrows. The bow is surprisingly easy to craft with 1 rope, 1 stick, and 1 cloth. Coins, watch, booze, and circuit board makes an explosive. Add some sap to make it sticky. The sticky part is very important and very helpful. Now if you want to make some armor, which I highly recommend, 6 bones and 3 cloth makes bone armor. This armor is stronger and better than stealth armor. 2 sticks equals a spear, 3 bones, 2 cloth equals an upgraded spear. You can add booze and cloth to make a fire spear. The fire part is kind of cool and you can chuck it at her, but I wouldn't use this as your main weapon. Modern axe plus cloth plus booze makes a very long lasting fire axe. I would keep that in emergency at the end just in case. Marigold plus aloe vera equals medication. Add some coneflower to make it upgraded. Chicory plus coneflower equals the energy mix. Add aloe to make it upgraded. And you can hold I think 5 of each of those types, so you can get a whole bunch of medication if you have a bunch of herbs hanging about. So I'd recommend maxing this out if you can. If you take lizard skin and a bunch of leaves, you'll get the stealth armor. Stealth part isn't really helpful here, but if you can't get a bunch of bones for whatever reason, you can make stealth armor instead. 10 bone armor will max out your armor, and if you have other armor equipped, you can actually just click on the armor that you want and it'll cycle them out until you get to that point. So you take them off and you cycle into the other armor. Deerskin counts as well. Now let's go over how to get some of this stuff. I do have a video on tips on killing critters and rabbits, deer. I recommend watching that if you're not sure, but go to the beach. It's an excellent place for birds. And so if you go to the beach with a stick and you attack the ground, not a spear, you can get coins and rocks. And just go ahead and collect a bunch of coins doing this. Bones, the best way to get bones, of course, is just to throw a body on the fire. It's much faster than cooking each part individually. A lot of people know this, but some don't, so just throw the entire body on the fire. When it starts to cook, it'll turn into bones. I recommend getting a bone holder early on, because even if you're not making bone armor at that point, later in the game you're going to need a whole bunch. In this village above your respawn point is a lot of cloth, some circuit boards, suitcases so you'll get some medicine and booze. And there are a few other items in here like dynamite. So this is a really great location if you want to get some of those pieces. And I have a Cave 2 video that I'll go through here, get you the modern axe and some other goodies as well. That video in the description in the top right. Included in that Cave 2 video is an old pot. You can get these in the center of a lot of cannibal villages. Super helpful to get sap because you get a whole bunch at once every now and then. In the Katana Cave is a boatload of watches. Now you can get these by hitting the hanging bodies in caves as well, or off of the Asian group that's right before this cave. But I think this is an easy spot to get it, as well as you can get the katana and some other nice things. Video on how to get that, again, top right and in the comments. But this place is awesome. Come down with a bunch of booze and coins and just make your bombs here, and you can get even more watches when you take back upstairs. So to summarize, I highly recommend that you use the bow and arrow as well as the sticky explosives. You can absolutely use other items, but I think reducing the amount of backpack digging that you're doing is really helpful, and using the melee weapon is quite dangerous compared to keeping all of your energy available with the bow and arrow. That makes it much easier in my opinion, even if you're going to spend maybe like 2 more minutes on the fight than if you had used a higher damaging weapon. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. I'd be happy to help confirm some recipes or some ideas. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video, and I hope you have a happy new year. Thank you.